Okay, I've had lots of complaints that my videos are too long and don't show the key points in bullet point fashion kind of thing. So I'm going to show you just the highlights of the Linda Lane videos. This is from Brian Kohberger Moscow, which is the Reddit channel for Brian Kohberger Moscow. This is their Linda Lane footage. It's pure as it came off the Linda Lane copies, but the police have obviously edited some of this. It's very clear. Okay, so here you're going to see the highlights. Ready? So this is the first thing to see. This is at 11:23. You'll see the black truck come in and it kind of stops here. That's the police editing, I think, to get rid of the picture of the perp, so you can't see the perp, and goes up there and it parks at 13:30. Okay, and we'll see that later how it parks there. Ready? Now we're going to see the next clip. So this is the clip of the perp coming in before the crimes at 11:26. So you can see this if you go to Brian Kohberger Moscow YouTube channel. You'll see all of these videos there. So you can see a car coming in here, drops off the perp. The perp walks around this corner. Here he comes around this corner here. He's got some kind of light showing. I think he's got a headlamp and he's got his cell phone and he's got a key fob that's shining in the dark as well. So I think there's a few things that are shiny here. But when he gets closer, you'll see he has got a kill kit on. He's got a shower cap. He's got a couple of bags, which I think have the big knives in them, or knives. And I think he's got the shower curtain with him. I think he's wearing a Tyvek suit, or maybe it's a Dickies suit. We're not sure. So here he comes walking across here. And you'll see as he gets closer, you get quite a good picture of him. I think it's a male, although some people have said it's a female, but I think it's 6 foot tall. Unusual for a female, but possible. The walk, I think, is meant to look like a female so that you think it's a female. And I think he's dressed weirdly, but I don't think any female would dress like this, really, if you really think about it. So there's the shower cap, I think. I think he's got a Dickies suit on. I think he's got 2 bags with knives or a knife in it. And he walks up here. Now, we cannot get the footage at this point at 3. This is 13:30 over here. We can't get that footage at this point in time, which again, I think is very relevant. I think they can see very clearly who the perp is at that point. Okay, so this is at 12:43 a.m. on the 1320 camera. And you'll see a car come in, which I think is a Hyundai Elantra, but it's not Brian's Elantra. It's one with a sunroof, okay? But I think, again, that it's very relevant. I think Brian swapped cars. I think he had a number of cars he used, the black truck and 2 Hyundai Elantras at least, if not 3. I know that sounds crazy, but I think he really planned this thing out. So this, I think, is a Hyundai Elantra. And I think this was a kind of an intentional drive-by so that everyone can see that it's not his car, that it's got a sunroof on it, so that everyone knows that. Okay, that's my theory. Call me crazy. Okay, next piece that's interesting is is on, where are we? On the dumpster, the 1320 video at, what time are we talking about here? 3:13. There we go. So this is the perp coming dressed in ordinary clothes, I think, to the actual crime scene. And he comes down a similar path to the previous perp, which I think is the same person. Again, something shining, probably his cell phone and a key fob, I think, at this point. He also, I think, has a knife with him. And I think he leaves the knife at the dumpster here. Maybe that's planted to make it, I don't know, make it look like someone else. I don't know, with maybe somebody else's DNA. I don't know, something. I'm not sure where his mind is at. But anyway, so he comes here. He puts something in the dumpster. I think he's got like a headlamp on, which I think the other person had too. So he puts something in dumpster, I think, or he might take something out, not sure. So again, this is about a 6 foot guy, just dressed in ordinary clothes. And when he goes up here, he goes to 1330 car parking lot. You can see him on the 1330 at 3:15, finishing off this walk, if you like, and you'll see what I mean after that, and you'll see why I think it's the perp as well. Okay, so let's stop there. So the next thing that's significant is on the Linda Lane 1330 camera, right? So just before we start, this here is where the black truck was left, I believe. In that previous video, we saw the black truck arrive. So let's watch this. The perp is going to come across here at about 3:15, 25, 30, something like that. And he's going to run across or walk across here and do some stuff. Walk across here, you'll see his head bobbing up here a little bit. And then you'll see him go down this corner. I think what he does is he gets on an e-bike, and I'll show you why I think that later. This e-bike is about here. And then he rides down to, he rides down to 1122, which is just down here on the e-bike, I think. He does something. I don't know if he gets the dog, maybe Murphy, and brings it back to the car, the truck, something like that. And then he comes back, and you see him come back. You see him shuffle here, get dressed. He seems to be, putting his Tyvek suit on and things like that, and then goes back to the crime, and we'll see all that. So watch over here for now, because you'll see him arrive at about 3:15. I think it's 25:30, maybe it's 40. We'll see him cross this little bit here. Here he is. There he is. So it's a bit earlier than 3:15, 20. Okay, so he's right here. So he walks across here, and if you look really carefully, you'll see him walk through here. There he is. And then he walks up here, then he walks up here. There he is, you see him there. And he walks, you see his head bob here. There it goes. See his head? Just see it. And then he goes over here, and you see him move around and then go off to the left. There he goes. So I think then he gets on the e-bike, or just walks, I'm not sure, down to 1122. I think he gets something, maybe Murphy. He takes a little while, so he takes some time to get it, whatever it is. And then he comes back, and then you'll see him bob his head and go over this way. And if you listen to it on the original, you'll hear a lot of rustling at this point. I don't think you can hear it through my TV, unfortunately. But then he goes back, and I think then is when he goes and does some other stuff at 1122 and gets the car and drives back and things like that. So he's still over at 1122 right now. He comes back here at about 3:18:40, I think it is. So we've got about 2 minutes before he comes back. But basically what he does when he comes back is he goes to the truck, he gets changed, I think, and gets some preparation and stuff. He does a few things around here. I think there's a car behind him, which I think is the Hyundai Elantra. I think he's moving stuff into that car or something. And then at 3:25 to 30, he drives that Hyundai Elantra round this way, drives it in here, and then drives it up the side here, and then goes off in this direction. And from then on, we've got reports of that car being seen elsewhere, up that way. But I think Kaylee and Maddie might be killed somewhere between 3:30-ish and 3:45-ish. And I think he then thinks it's all over, drives off, and realizes he has left the sheath behind, the knife sheath behind. So drives back erratically very quickly at around 3:48 or something like that. And then at 3:50, we see him come back here and go back here again. And I think that's when he's going looking for the knife sheath. So he's about to appear from the left here and come back up here. So sometime around now. So keep an eye out for him. I think it's about 3:18:40, I think. Might be a bit before that. If you watch really carefully, he's here. There he is. And then he goes over here to the truck. Watch that light. You'll see that light. You'll see him move around. Yeah, see? So he's moving around. And if you're listening on the original video at this point, you hear a lot of shuffling, a lot of moving around. You also see every now and then some flashes of light when he locks or unlocks cars and things like that. I think he locks and unlocks the black truck, and then he does the same thing to the white Hyundai, which I think is behind this car, this truck. I think. You can't tell it's the Hyundai because you can't see it. I'm just guessing. So right now he's shuffling around here. There was just a beat. More shuffling. He's talking on the phone, it sounds like. Get deeper into that one. Can we see a little bit better that way? There you go. See him move here. He's talking on the phone again. Now he's gone up this way. See his head again? It's going up here. And then he goes over here again. I think he gets the e-bike. And this time you actually hear the e-bike. So I think this time he's definitely on the e-bike. So right now I can hear the e-bike. So I think he's gone down to 1122 on the e-bike at this point. He does come back, and then he kind of shuffles around here again. He scares off a cat. There's a cat, a white cat that appears up here, and he scares off the cat. And then I think he drives off in the white Hyundai Elantra at around 3:27, something like that. And then at 3:30, he comes around this way and goes down here towards 1122. So right now there's not a lot happening. Now you can hear him come back. Keep watching this area. There's noises. Sounds to me like he started a car up like behind here. See that car, that cat run off? So at this point, I think he's getting the white Hyundai Elantra ready, my guess is, to do something. I think to go and kill Kaylee and Maddie. You see that light? I think that's where he either locks or unlocks the white Hyundai Elantra, I think. Or maybe the truck, I'm not sure which. There's a lot of noises. Sounds like he's banging the trunk and then walking around the car or something. There's a slam, another light. So this is where he's going to start driving off, I think, in that car. He might be psyching himself up for what he's about to do. I don't know. I mean, imagine at this point, at any moment, if he turns back, it changes the whole trajectory of lots of people's lives, If only he'd turned back at this point. Some noises, clicking. Keep watching. I think he's about to, another light, I think it's going to go off. That's a slam. There you go. There's the light. Sounds like he's getting into the car at this point. Sounds like the car's slowly driving off now. He's like shut the car or something. There's a light here. Another movement here. Maybe he forgot something and came back for it in the truck. Sounds like he's drinking something. You can look at the originals and listen to this on the originals. 327 we're talking about now. More movement. Again, he sounds like he's drinking. Shut the car door. He's gone up this way now. which I think is where the white Hyundai Elantra is now, I think. Now he's about to drive it off, I think. If you watch here, it's about to drive off, I think. You'll see the lights come here. He's still here right now. Here it comes. The lights are on. There you go. He's coming. He's going to go this way, and just down behind there is the back parking lot, which leads to 1122. So I think he parks the white Elantra back there. I think that's the white Elantra. You can't tell, of course. Okay, so that's the end of that piece. I think that's the last thing you see on that one. And then this piece is after the murders, I think, after the first two murders, I should say, after Maddie and Kaylee. Watch this piece. You're going to see him run down here, go here. This is when I think he's realized he's left the sheath behind when he killed Maddie and Kaylee. So he's driven back here, and he's going to run down here and go and retrieve the sheath, I think. There's some noises, some yelling. So he's moving around here. He's about to start moving over this way. Watch here. You'll see him better here. 350, he moves over here, I think. Watching. You can hear an e-bike coming to about here. I think it's an e-bike, or it might be the Hyundai Elantra, I'm not sure. Actually, I think it's the Hyundai Elantra. And then he runs across here. Here he goes. And I think he's looking for the sheath, so he's in a rush. He goes over here. Goes over there. He goes down to the house. Now, while he's down there, of course, we know that the DoorDash arrives at around just before 4 o'clock, about 3:56 maybe. So I think he's already in the house when DoorDash arrives.
I want to show you something I could only find on the full version and not on the ordinary version of Linda Lane. So this is at 2:50-ish. So just keep an eye on lights and stuff going on here. So this is at 2:50-ish on the dumpster video, the 1320 video. Obviously you can't hear some of this, but I can hear a car coming in or a truck coming in right now on this video. You can see something coming here. So it sounds very loud, so it sounds very much like that black truck that we heard before. It comes down this way and goes over there. So maybe that's a black truck, maybe it's not a black truck, not sure. Can't see it very well from here. Now watch the lights and so on. So first of all, we're seeing lights here, a light here. See those lights go off here? They go off and on. I'm going to rewind so you don't miss that bit. Let's just go back a little bit. Let's just go back a second. See those lights going on and off? Something is weird about this house. This house is definitely linked in some way. Remember, this is also where the perp, both times the perp comes down here, they do something here. We're not sure what they do. It looks like a key fob turning a car on and off, or opening a car and closing the car or something. So this house is definitely something to do with all this. Okay, so what do we see now? We see a car going this way. I'm not sure if it's a truck or a car, but it sounds quieter. It sounds like a car. Now there's another car. Now this is all at what time? 2:52 something. Another car comes down here. Are these all linked? If so, what are the links? What are the connections here? Very late at night on a Saturday night, even for a Saturday night where there's been all this a football game and a lot of excitement. There's another car over here. If you look, you can just see some lights moving around there. There's a lot of action going on at 2:50 in the morning. There's another car over here. So you can hear this on the original. So if you go back to the original, there's some lights coming in here. Here we go again, another car here. There's a lot going on at 2:50 in the morning, and this car kind of turns here. I think it's very suspicious, and it's suspicious that this house kind of signals in some way and puts lights on and off. That's very suspicious, I think. So anyone who's got any theories on what that's all about, please let me know.
So at this point, Brian has just gone into the house looking for the knife sheath, I think, and probably the DoorDash is just about to arrive, and the DoorDash will kind of make Xana and Ethan come out of their rooms and things like that. Here we go. The DoorDash is arriving here, I think. So that's going to kind of throw a spanner in the works for Brian, who's looking for the sheath. Now we believe this is a Hyundai Elantra. Whether or not it's Brian's Hyundai Elantra or just the DoorDash Hyundai Elantra, I don't know. Goes down this way. Now that could be Brian just preparing to go in himself, or the perp preparing to go in himself, or that could be DoorDash. We don't know. People say that that is a Hyundai Elantra though. So could it be that the DoorDash person also had a Hyundai Elantra? I don't know. So either Brian was in before already looking for the sheath, or now he's in there looking for the sheath. I'm not sure. We see some movement here. Now there's another car coming in. So this is either the DoorDash or Brian coming back. I'm not sure which. This one does beeps and knocks on the door and stuff like that. So I think it's the DoorDash. It's at 3:58. But it's definitely confusing. Difficult to know. So this is going to be the end of the 3 to 4 video. We'll pick up on the 4 o'clock video just at the end of that, from 4 till 5, the end of this one.